So we're now recording. So good morning and welcome. My name is Tim Randall from Links Magazines, and I'm broadcasting from Tavistock. And I have with me three local councillors. So would you like to introduce yourselves one by one? Should we start with Andy?
Yeah, I'm Andy Hutton. I'm a Deputy Mayor this year, and I've been a councillor for about 4 years now.
And Steve?
Steve Hipsey. I'm Borough Councillor for West End Borough Council, Tavistock North.
Okay, and Ursula?
I'm Ursula Mann. I'm a Tavistock Town Councillor, and I'm also one of the volunteers for Tavistock Local Help.
Brilliant. Okay, so we're gonna talk about an organisation that you three have set up in Tavistock. So who would like to go first and explain what it is exactly that you've set up and what exactly you do?
Ursula's our main leader, so over to her.
Thanks,
She
Andy.
certainly deserves that honour.
Basically, Tavistock Locals Help is doing what a lot of COVID mutual aid groups are doing throughout the country, which is looking after and helping people who are isolating at home get things they need, get help they need, assistance with food, assistance with prescription delivery, and other things, kind of strange requests, people that need transport to hospital, people who have the need to have their lawn mowed because they can't get across it. We're trying to sort all of those types of things.
Right. Okay. And so just in more detail, then, who are you looking to help? Give me a description of the kind of people that would benefit from your services.
We have basically been helping people who are in the vulnerable categories generally. So people who are isolating because they're on the shielding list. So we have those folks that have underlying health conditions. We help a lot of people who are over 70 and who are self-isolating for personal reasons because they know something about themselves that perhaps they're not on the list, but they just need some help. We're helping a lot of people who would rather just not go into a grocery store, so they just need like regular grocery deliveries, but they aren't necessarily the type of people, or they can't find a slot online. We're helping local businesses in Tavistock who had to sort of ramp up all of a sudden and needed help getting deliveries to customers. So we've helped Roots and Vines, Continental Fruits, and we've even, considered doing other types of deliveries. We're working with Whitchurch Post Office as well to deliver for them, more essential groceries.
Yes.
We also have worked with the food bank. So if a food bank customer can't get their food bank because that's normally done in person, we've been picking that up and delivering the food bank boxes. Mount Kelly came on board to help us with that because that is picked up, and actually the school is now doing a huge amount of deliveries of that and supplementary food packages that Steve has done. So I'll let him talk about that particular portion because it's actually kind of grown exponentially. We have a website, so people can find out about us on our website, which is tavistock.localshelp.co.uk. And we have our phone number. So if anybody has a question about what we could do for them, that is 0800 046 5531.
Lovely. Okay. Well, we'll give those out again a little bit more at the end. So, Steve, do you want to just elaborate on what Ursula was saying then?
Yes. One thing I think is probably worthy of note is obviously this sort of thing came together organically. There were quite a lot of people involved at the beginning. It's kind of now Ursula, Andy and I are pulling the strings and working the levers to a certain extent. And I think one of the remarkable things is that the whole thing, which I'm very proud of now. I think it's a marvellous organisation that's working very smoothly with a fair bit of modern technology, largely thanks to Ursula and Phil, who's an IT man. The whole thing was put together with only one face-to-face meeting. The group of us got together in town, actually outside Duke's Coffee House, suitably separated in the very early days of lockdown before we were invited to stay in our houses. That was the only face-to-face meeting. Everything else has been done on Zoom and telephones, emails, and so on and so forth. So I think that's quite an achievement. So that's the first thing I think it's probably worth pointing out. The other thing that I've become fairly passionate about is the whole food issue. And as Ursula said, that's something fairly new. We've been doing that steadily, but it's now grown quite a lot. We soon became aware that there were quite a lot of people out there that were having difficulty feeding themselves for various reasons. Obviously, income has been disrupted. That has to be said, there are some fairly chaotic households who find it difficult to provide food for the household. So we've been able to help there. First of all, we started helping with the food bank deliveries, and that became fairly apparent that there were more and more people that we needed to sort out who didn't have referrals to the food bank. So as Ursula said, we got Mount Kelly on board, Mount Kelly School, and they've been absolutely fantastic. The headmaster, Guy Ayling, there has been absolutely brilliant. And we realised that the facilities there were just what we needed, because we didn't really have any storage space for food donations that we were given. Started off in my garage, which really wasn't very suitable. And of course, Mount Kelly School have storage, including refrigerators and freezers that we can use. They also have a fairly large fleet of vehicles, and there are 12 staff there that are isolating, or certainly available for help. So that's become a really important and useful thing that we can do for the town. I've got a couple of statistics here that I'll bore you with. The other thing, actually, before I go on to that, we have had a remarkable number of the government food boxes that have been delivered to people who really don't need them. So a lot of those people very kindly have donated them to us so that we can redistribute the content. So that's another good source of food. We've had donations from Morrison's and various other local businesses.
You were going to say then, Steve?
Say again?
Those stats. What were those stats you were going to read out?
Oh yes, the stats. Since the 2nd of April, we have had a total of 40. We've made 47 food donations or food deliveries, if you like, around town, and we've had 27 government boxes donated to us, which is a remarkable number, and it's growing very quickly. So that actually works out over that period. We've delivered 9.7 consignments per week on average, and 5.4 government boxes per week.
Brilliant.
So interestingly, the deliveries we're making are just slowly declining, but the number of boxes we're picking up from the government, if you like, is increasing quite remarkably.
Yeah, brilliant.
Andy. Can I talk about the volunteers and the organisation of this? Because we're actually, as Steve said, we're very proud of it. We basically had this meeting, and then the three of us, with one or two others coming in, basically had Zoom meetings. I'd never heard of Zoom 5 weeks ago. We had Zoom meetings for an hour every night, setting the whole thing up. And that's when we started asking for volunteers. And Tavistock has come together wonderfully for this. We have 170 volunteers now on our books. People in Tavistock who want to do some good. They want to come out of the pandemic, being able to say to the grandchildren, I did something useful. I wasn't an emergency worker, but I did something useful. And one of the problems that we've had is actually, luckily, there haven't been enough jobs for the volunteers to do, which is great. But we also managed to get this thing up and going very quickly. It was quite clear that nationally the NHS responder scheme has really not worked very well. People have not really used it because a lot of local groups like ours got up with the local people very quickly to get things going. And I think that's something that Tavistock as a town has got to be very proud of, you know, that a lot has not been good about this pandemic, but this really has shown there's a lot of people out there who want to get stuck into helping the community and helping the neighbours who they never even sort of would know before this pandemic, and now they've sort of, even though we can't talk to each other, actually you can talk to each other, and a lot of good has come from this pandemic.
Excuse the dog. Right, thank you, Andy. Right, I'm not sure that we can spend much longer now because we're probably going over our little bit of time. So let's get the main points out again. So Ursula, could you give me those contact details again?
Yeah, absolutely. So our 800 number is 0800 046 5531. And that's staffed from 9 to 6 every day of the week. So people can call and we'll discuss whatever that they needed help with and find something for them. We have our website, which is tavistocklocalshelp.co.uk. So if somebody wants to do it that way, they can do that. We also have a Facebook group, which is Tavistock Locals Help -COVID-19. And we have a Facebook page, which is Tavistock Locals Help Facebook page.
Brilliant. Okay, fantastic. So if anyone out there is in need of any kind of need, they can contact you and they may be able to get some help from you. Are you still looking for more volunteers, or do you have enough people now to manage?
We've basically got enough. I mean, people are still coming in every day. We're still getting 1 or 2 emails every day from people who are saying, we'd like to volunteer. And actually at present, we're nicely saying, if anything, the need seems to be decreasing a little bit. It may change. It may change because if people start going back to work, some of our volunteers will be going back to work. And it may be that there'll still be people isolating. So the volunteers are still needed. But just at present, we're not particularly asking for any more.
All right, brilliant. Well, look, well done to all 3 of you and to your 100 or so volunteers. I think it's a brilliant story. I think that people will be eternally grateful for you. I hope it's something that we can write about in our next printed magazine. And thank you both, or all of you, all 3 of you, for joining me today. And let's get the message out there. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you.